and part 3. And in this part, we'll talk about how to actually generate these things from N-gram model, how to generate sequences of words. And before that, I forgot to talk about this N-gram viewer from Google Books. So it's basically generating these N-gram models based on Google Books as documents. So it has the years and English, and there's the Laplace smoothing. You can use delta with other numbers. So I'm going to use 1. And it basically plots over time, like how often these things are used. So let's maybe try another one, try machine learning. And let's see. Well, it's not used until like 1960. And well, yes, so I think the data is incomplete. I think the word is actually more popular now, so I don't think that part is right. But but in any case, it's mainly in like this period, it becomes really popular. And we're going to try this I am Groot thing. Oh, okay, nothing. So the books does not include like these books. So let me actually try only Groot. So Groot is actually something. I don't actually know what it is, but it's something. And it's kind of popular very early, and it's still kind of popular. So I'm actually not sure what this is. But in any case, you can play with this. And in the homework, I asked you to find something that the popularity is decreasing over time. So you can try some of the very old word that we are not using now. So don't try something offensive, but well. Okay, and you can share it on Piazza. So here, let's go back to this animation, and we're trying to figure out how to actually do this, how to actually move starting from this, and according to these probabilities, like one row of the probability, how do we actually generate the next one? Right? Suppose we're at D, how do we actually figure out the next one is E and A and C with some kind of particular probabilities? So that's what we'll do here. And the idea is basically how to sample from some kind of discrete distribution. So suppose we know this probability already. So we know the row of the transition probability of an N-gram model. The question is how to actually generate the next one. So let's start with something very simple. If the next one is either 0 or 1, so suppose the next one are either I or M, represented by 0 or 1, with probabilities p and 1 minus p, because we figured this out from the documents. How do we generate the next one? And the important thing is that most programming language has this uniform distribution built in. So it's something like mass.random. And we know this is a number between 0 and 1. So what we can do is say this is between 0 and 1, and suppose this is our p, and this is our 1 minus p, because it's sum to 1. Then what we're going to do is we just generate a random number here. If it's in the first region, I'm going to output 0, or just output I. And if it's in this region, I'm going to output 1, or alternatively, I output the word M. So that seems very simple. And the idea is, if we generate a random number is less than p, we output 0. If it's larger than p, we output 1. So how are we going to extend this to 3 possible words? So I am Groot, for example. Say most likely is I with probability p1, M with probability p2, and Groot with probability p3. So if we randomly generate a U, if this U is between 0 and P1, then we would output I. If it's between P1, note that this is not P2, this is P1 plus P2. Then we're going to output M. And if it's between P1 plus P2 and last one is 1, but 1 is also P1 plus P2 plus P3, then we output Groot. So that seems a very quick way, and it seems like something like this it's useful summing up the thing, like the integral image. Remember, we can make stuff faster by integrating the images. And here, there's a name for these kind of integral probabilities. It's called the cumulative distribution. So a cumulative distribution is basically just these things that are summing probabilities from the initial point to basically the current point. So at the beginning, we're just going to compute these cumulative probabilities, and then we're going to use this based on one random number, generate the next next word. So maybe let's have an example. So suppose there are, say, four words, A, B, C, D, and A is 0.1, B is 0.2, 0.3, and 0.4, so they sum up to 1. And what this means is, suppose we have our current word already, and this is just one single row of our transition matrix. We take out that row. That's important because we know the current one already. So suppose the current one is C, and then we basically take out the row corresponding to C, and then we know the probability of the next one being A, being B, being C, and being D, and then we compute the CDF. The CDF is 0.1, 0.3, 0.6, and 1. Remember, we had that integral image trick of just if you add up these two, you get the next one. Add up these two, you get the next one. Add up these two, you get the next one. So you can do this recursively instead of just every time you just recompute the whole thing. But in any case, that's just make it a bit faster. So we generate a random variable between 0 and 1. And what we do is we check, say, if it's 0.2, then it's between these two. Then we just output the one corresponding to this is basically B. So basically, we need a for loop, and we need if, say, our U is between CDF I and CDF I minus 1, say CDF 0 needs to be an additional 0. If it's in between like this, then we just return basically the character or the word corresponding to the index I. So that's basically how we generate the next one based on the current word we're on. And if we know where we start, so start with one word and then we keep doing this, we can get a sentence. And you'll actually try this in P3. Okay, so lastly, a very small thing about in real life, how are we going to actually deal with this? Obviously, in real life, we're not going to do it with character by character because that doesn't make sense. But in P3, we are. So here, this is our P3. And in real life, these transition matrices are way too large. Because if you have a vocabulary size of n, then if you are trying and say an n-gram model, then we're basically based on n to the power n minus 1 number of possible permutations for what happened in the previous n minus 1 steps. And then we have, say, n possibilities for the current one. So the matrix size will be this. This is huge. So especially n is large. So what we usually do, and we'll actually talk about this, is cluster these so that we are not actually using the words, we are using groups of words. So for example, if we have these I am Groot and we are thing, we are going to group them into 3 groups. The first group is I and we, their pronouns, and next am and are verbs, and last one noun, Groot. And then we are labeling it 0, 1, and 2, so we would have a 3 by 3 transition matrix instead of a 5 by 5. So that'll be one idea to make it smaller.